What's going on, guys? Brad Abbott here with another one of the weekly videos. It is the 5th Friday of the month, which means we got to do something special. So today we're going to talk about how the studio version of Vivian came to sound the way it does. For that, we're using a screen capture of Studio One, and we're going to go ahead and get right into it. Let's go. So Vivian is kind of an upbeat pop rock song, and it's written from another person's perspective about a catfish. I talked all about what Vivian's written about over on an episode of Song Stories. Check that out. I'll leave a link in the description below. But today is all about looking at what makes the studio version of Vivian sound the way it does. Vivian starts off with an electric guitar intro. It's actually 2 electric guitar parts, 3 electric guitar parts playing at one time. So you have a left and right of the satin purple Strat strumming a C to an A, and then you have over top of that left and right a melody of the satin purple Strat. The reason I use that one is the Strat has a very clear and chimey, almost bell-like quality to it, which is exactly what I was going for in that intro. You actually hear that same guitar line repeating throughout the entirety of the song, but in the intro it's very prevalent because there's nothing else surrounding it. So from the intro, you go into a quick 1, 2, 3, 4 count in, which takes you into the rest of the song, which is where the drums, bass, and acoustic guitar come in. Now, as a lot of you guys know, I don't actually have a band at the moment, nor do I have the ability to play drums. So for this album, I had to resort to programming the drums. I'm going to go ahead and show you what that's all about right now. Let's jump onto the Studio One screen. So right here, you see what is a drum map. If I click on this, it'll blow it up, and that brings me to this screen. Let's zoom in a little bit. You'll see right here it says bass drum, and right here it says snare drum 1. So each one of these blocks is a snare drum hit, and each one of these blocks is a bass drum hit. Now, in the studio, you have the ability to drag and drop these wherever you want, so you get to make a completely custom drum track, custom tailored to exactly what you are playing. The problem with this is oftentimes it sounds incredibly robotic and fake, and you can tell it's programmed. So what I did to kind of alleviate that a little bit was, instead of programming in the hi-hat, which is ridiculously fake sounding, we actually recorded a real hi-hat. So we recorded an actual live hi-hat and used that in conjunction with a programmed drum kit, and the final product ended up sounding not overly fake. I definitely liked the method we used a lot better. Let's go ahead and let the song play. Going to go ahead and start on the intro, go all the way through the count in and into the vocals for the verse. Listening back to the vocals now, being the person who not only performed them but also recorded them, I really wish I would have done better. That's a problem that I have with pretty much every one of my recordings. Anytime I listen back to it, I'm like, I could have done that better. And, you know, in this particular case, I wish I was projecting more, and I've learned a lot since doing this record that I just know that it's good enough, but I wish I would have done it a little bit better. With the verse comes the bass guitar, the drum programming, along with the real recorded hi-hat. The electric guitar is still in, and of course, the acoustic guitar is in now. So I like to keep acoustic guitar and my vocals consistent with every single song. I want every song on each record to have that acoustic guitar in it and to have those vocals in it, because when you see me live, I don't have a band with me. What you're getting is just me and an acoustic guitar. So I like to have both of those things prevalent in each and every one of these songs. Not only that, acoustic guitar is also what I write the songs on, so that's where they begin, and I like to have that at the end as well. So going into the chorus, really the only thing that changes is the chord progression, and also the arpeggio kind of goes a little higher to divert you away from the verse, let you know that something different is going on. When we go into the chorus, I felt that it needed something. It needed something backing it up. So I wanted another vocal line in it to kind of add some spice. And after listening back and trying to do it myself a few times, I decided that it definitely needed a female voice behind it. However, when I start a project or when I go into a studio thinking, okay, I want to finish the vocals for Vivian tonight, and that's my mindset, that's it. It's game over. It has to be done that night. It was crunch time, so I went downstairs and I was like, babe, listen, I know you're shy and I know you want nothing to do with the studio upstairs and you don't want to sing on this record by any means, but I'll buy you a real nice dinner if you just come up here and sing this line, do your thing that's already written for you, just knock this out for me real quick. So I brought her up, threw her on the mic, and here is the end result.
Vivian, you stole my heart. Vivian, how I hate.
If you ask me, she definitely adds a lot to the song, and I think it is absolutely necessary that she made a guest appearance. Melanie, thank you for putting up with everything that you put up with, which I know is a lot, and also for making Vivian what it is today. I really do appreciate it, and every time I listen back, it makes me smile when I hear your voice. So, beyond the chorus, we go into the second verse, which is largely the same as the first, with the exception of some lyrical changes. Then it's into the breakdown. Of course, the breakdown kind of pulls you back in, kind of strips everything down, takes the drums out of it for the most part, and really hits you where it hurts.
But I'm starting to get the feeling I just may be wrong. Had I lost my mind to not know what was going on? Could I be so blind? How could you lead a second life? Waste my time on Vivian.
So from there, it's pretty much the end of the song, and I wanted to go ahead and give you guys a couple demos here. So the electric guitar part you hear is recorded on the Satin Purple Strat, which I just featured in a recent video of Gear Stories. This is a Made in Mexico series Fender Strat, and I use this to record a bunch of stuff, including Vivian. So on the record, the guitar and bass parts were recorded in a plugin called Empire, which comes with PreSonus's Studio One. That allows me to adjust the tone as I go, so if I change the bass tone and then it also kind of affects how the guitar sounds in the mix, I can then go in and edit that tone after, which is why I went that route. As much as I would have loved miking up the Fender DeVille that I have here in the studio, and I did try to do that, it's just the result was so final and I couldn't quite change some of the things that I recorded in that manner, and I decided to just go with the software solution just because it made mixing a little bit easier. So the intro of Vivian starts out with the electric guitar playing a C to A chord progression with some distortion on it, and then over top of that there is a melody, and I'm going to go ahead and play both of those for you right now. So the C to A progression is played with some distortion, as I said, and that is done on the bridge pickup. And then over top of that, there's the melody. That is played on the second position up, which on the Strat is the bridge and middle pickups. And then those does pretty much stay constant throughout the entire song until you get to the chorus, where there is another little arpeggio on the electric guitar that goes like this. So one of my favorite parts of Vivian is the bass line. It has a nice rhythm to it, and I enjoy it. It just makes me groove with the song, and it adds a lot to it, and I think it helps make it what it is. So it starts out on the C, and it does have a quick G in there to just keep it bouncy, if you will. So at the core of Vivian is the acoustic guitar, which is a fairly simple progression. It all started with that C chord and me being in an upbeat, bouncy mood when I wrote it. And I just slid that up to a D and then down to an A. So it goes a little something like this. So when I play Vivian live, there's actually two different versions that I choose from, and that's the upbeat version that I just played there and that you hear on the studio track. And then there's also the more calmed down acoustic version that I call it, which I played on Song Stories. So definitely check that out if you're into that kind of thing. I tell the story of what Vivian's written about, and there's also a downloadable version of the acoustic version of that song. So check it out. So thank you guys so very much for checking out the video and all of the support you give me. We're trying to reach 1,000 subscribers here on YouTube by the end of this year, so be sure to share these videos around with your friends. Tell them to subscribe. That really does help me out a lot. YouTube.com/Brad Abbott Music. Beyond that, I am on most major forms of social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Brad Abbott Music. And of course, you can catch all of my work at bradabbottmusic.com. There you'll be able to find the full studio album, How Are You?, which includes this studio version of Vivian, which we just broke down. You can also find the Song Stories acoustic version of Vivian there. It's only $1. You can download that as well. bradabbottmusic.com, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter at Brad Abbott Music. Thank you guys a ton. I'll see you in the next video.